Chapter 1, The First Note. I was halfway through a bottle of cheap Merlot when the melody hit me, like a punch to the gut, but prettier. It was 2 in the morning, the kind of hour where the world feels like it's holding its breath, and I was sprawled on my couch in our cramped Seattle apartment, trying to forget the day. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, part-time barista, part-time guitarist who hasn't gigged in months because life's a relentless bitch. My daughter, Ellie, was asleep down the hall, 6 years old, all tangled curls and sass, and the silence was my only break from her endless questions and my endless guilt. Then it came, sharp, haunting, a tune I'd never heard but felt like it knew me. It wasn't the TV, off. Not my phone, dead on the coffee table, next to a stack of overdue bills. It was in my head, or maybe the air, a cascade of notes that danced like they were mocking me. I sat up, wine sloshing onto my ratty sweatshirt, and rubbed my eyes. Great, I muttered, now I'm losing it. Single mom life'll do that, too many nights wondering if you're screwing up your kid, too many days pretending you've got it together when the fridge is empty and your dreams are dust. But this wasn't exhaustion. This was real, cutting through the haze like a blade. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd say if this were one of those late-night TikTok spirals I fall into when Ellie's finally out. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this wasn't a screen I could swipe away. The melody looped, soft but insistent, piano keys, maybe, with a mournful edge that made my chest ache. I stumbled to Ellie's room, heart pounding, thinking maybe she'd snuck my old guitar out or something. She was dead asleep, sprawled like a starfish, no sound but her little snores. The melody didn't stop, louder now, tugging at me like a needy ex who won't quit calling. I checked the windows, shut, no wind. The neighbors? Silent for once, no late-night fights or shitty EDM. It was just me and this tune, wrapping around my brain like it owned the place. Then I saw it, a shadow in the corner, by Ellie's dresser. Not a trick of the light, moving, swaying, like it was dancing to the damn music. Tall, blurry, no face, just a smudge of dark that made my skin crawl. What the fuck? I whispered, stepping back, wine bottle still in hand like a shitty weapon. The shadow didn't lunge, just shifted, in time with the melody, like they were old pals. I blinked, hard, thinking it'd vanish. Nope. Still there, still swaying, and the tune got sharper, digging into me like nails on a chalkboard. I bolted to the living room, slamming Ellie's door, heart jackhammering. The melody followed, louder, clearer, a waltz, maybe, but twisted, like someone crying through a smile. I grabbed my phone, charged it just enough to call my mom, 3 in the morning be damned, but the line crackled, and the tune drowned her sleepy hello? I hung up, pacing, the shadow sway burned into my eyes. This wasn't normal. I'm not one of those woo-woo chicks who sees ghosts in every creek, hell, I barely believe in horoscopes, but this? This was real, and it was picking me out of the crowd. Why? I've got enough on my plate, Ellie's school fees, my boss riding my ass for being late, the landlord's threats about rent. I don't need a haunted soundtrack and a dancing shadow screwing with me too. But as I sank onto the couch, the melody softened, almost sweet, like it was sorry. The shadow didn't follow, stayed in Ellie's room, I guessed, but I felt it watching, waiting. Whatever it wasn't done with me yet. Chapter 2, Shadows in the Kitchen. I didn't sleep after that melody and its shadow buddy crashed my night. My eyes were gritty, my head throbbed like I'd been hit with a brick, and Ellie's, "Mom, you look like a zombie" over breakfast didn't help. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a side of washed-up musician, and now apparently the chosen one for some creepy-ass tune nobody else hears. I got Ellie to school, late, because of course, and dragged myself to Brood Awakening, the coffee shop where I sling lattes for hipsters who tip like they're doing me a favor. The melody stuck with me, humming under my skin like a splinter I couldn't dig out. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd say if this were one of those viral ghost stories I scroll through when I'm avoiding laundry. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this wasn't a screen I could close. The tune looped all morning, soft, taunting, weaving through the hiss of the espresso machine and the chatter of customers. I fumbled a cappuccino, splashing foam on my apron, and my boss, Tara, shot me that look, the one that says, "Get your shit together, Riley, or you're out." She's 40, all sharp edges and no patience, running this place like it's her kingdom. "You okay?" she asked, arms crossed, her tone more annoyed than caring. "Yeah, just tired," I mumbled, wiping my hands. Tired doesn't cover it, try haunted, freaked out, losing my damn mind. The melody swelled, louder, and I flinched, glancing around. Nobody else reacted, just kept sipping their overpriced drinks. Then I saw it, a shadow, flickering by the pastry case, tall and blurry, swaying like it was grooving to my personal soundtrack. My stomach dropped. Not here, not at work, where I'm already hanging by a thread. I blinked, hard, but it didn't vanish, just shifted, sliding along the wall like it was following the beat. "Riley!" Tara snapped, snapping me back. "You're spacing out again. Focus." I nodded, muttering an apology, but my eyes kept darting to the shadow. It moved, slow, deliberate, behind a guy in a beanie typing on his laptop, then vanished into the corner. The melody softened, teasing, like it knew I was watching. I poured the next order on autopilot, hands shaky, wondering if I'd finally snapped. Single mom life's a grind, Ellie's tantrums, bills I can't pay, the guilt of picking gigs over her sometimes, but this? This was next level bullshit, and it was picking the worst time to mess with me. The lunch rush hit, and I buried myself in it, grinding beans, steaming milk, faking smiles, hoping the chaos would drown the tune. No dice. It hummed louder, weaving through the clatter, and the shadow was back, by the door now, swaying like a drunk at a slow dance. A customer bumped me, spilling coffee, and I cursed under my breath. Tara swooped in, all business. "Take 5, she said, not a suggestion. I bolted to the break room, slamming the door, the melody chasing me like a needy kid. I sank onto a rickety chair, head in my hands, the tune sharp now, piano notes, mournful but pushy, like it wanted something. The shadow didn't follow, at least, I didn't see it, but the break room's flickering bulb buzzed in sync with the rhythm, and I laughed, bitter and loud. "What's your deal?" I muttered, half to myself, half to whatever was screwing with me. No answer, just that damn music, looping, digging into my bones. Tara banged on the door, back to work. And I stood, shaky, knowing I couldn't tell her I was hearing ghosts or seeing shadows. She'd fire me faster than you can say latte art. Back at the counter, the melody softened, almost smug, and the shadow was gone, for now. But my gut said it wasn't done. It was watching, waiting, and I was stuck dancing to its tune, whether I liked it or not. Chapter 3, The Piano's Secret. I made it through my shift at Brood Awakening somehow, the melody humming like a backseat driver I couldn't kick out. By the time I picked up Ellie from school, I was a mess, hands jittery, head buzzing, the shadow from work still burned into my brain. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a guitar gathering dust, and now stuck with a tune that's turning my life into a haunted jukebox. Ellie chattered about her day, something about glitter glue and a kid named Max, but I barely heard her, the melody weaving through her words like a rude guest who won't shut up. Back home, our Seattle apartment felt smaller than ever, cluttered with Ellie's toys, my half-dead plants, and the weight of bills I'd shoved under a couch cushion. I got her fed, mac and cheese, the gourmet of broke moms, and settled her with a cartoon, hoping for 5 minutes to breathe. The melody didn't let up, sharper now, piano notes curling around my skull like smoke. I paced, wine bottle tempting me, but I skipped it. Last night's buzz hadn't helped, and I needed my head clear, or as clear as it gets when you're hearing shit nobody else does. Ellie's giggles faded as I wandered to the corner where Aunt Nora's piano sat, old, chipped, a hand-me-down mom dumped on me after Nora died 5 years back. Nora was the cool aunt, chain-smoking, whiskey-drinking, played jazz like she was born for it. Died alone, liver shot, no kids, just this beat-up upright she'd loved more than people. I'd kept it for sentiment, not skill. I can strum a guitar, but piano's a mystery. The melody swelled, loud and close, like it was coming from the damn thing. I froze, staring at it, the shadow from last night flashing in my mind. Fuck it, I muttered, lifting the lid. Dust puffed up, and I coughed, waving it off. The keys were yellowed, some chipped, but the tune matched, same rhythm, same mournful waltz. I pressed a key, nothing, just a dull thud. Broken, like everything else in my life. But then I saw it, a corner of paper sticking out from under the fallboard, yellowed and creased. My heart kicked up, and I pried it free, sheet music, handwritten, ink faded but legible. Melody for N, no composer, just that, and notes I couldn't read but felt. It was the tune, my tune, scribbled out like a ghost's diary. I sank onto the stool, hands shaking, the melody playing louder in my head, syncing with the page. Ellie's cartoon droned on, but I barely registered it. Who wrote this? Nora? She was a player, not a composer, or so Mom said. I flipped the sheet, nothing on the back, just a coffee stain and a faint pencil mark. Don't let it play. My stomach twisted. Don't let what play? The melody? Too late for that, it was practically living in me now. I glanced up, and there it was, the shadow, in the corner by the TV, taller, swaying like it was conducting the damn thing. Mom? Ellie's voice snapped me back. She was on the couch, staring at me, not the shadow. Thank God. You okay? She asked, big eyes worried. Yeah, baby, I lied, folding the music fast. Just, messing with the piano. The shadow didn't move, just hummed, low and rough, like it was singing along, words I couldn't catch. My skin crawled. It wasn't just dancing now, it was part of this, tied to the tune, to Nora's piano, to me. I shoved the sheet into my pocket, heart pounding, and forced a smile for Ellie. Bedtime soon, okay? She nodded, distracted by the TV, and I sat there, the melody looping, the shadow's hum buzzing in my ears. Nora's dead, but this music wasn't, alive, clingy, dragging something with it. What the hell had she left me? And why was that shadow crooning like it knew the lyrics? Chapter 4, Aunt Nora's Ghost. I didn't touch the piano again after finding that sheet music, couldn't, not with the shadow humming like a creepy backup singer in my living room. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's one bad day from collapsing, and now stuck with a melody that's got me jumping at shadows. Ellie went to bed easy, thank God for small mercies, but I stayed up, the folded music burning a hole in my pocket, the tune looping louder, sharper, like it was pissed I'd ignored it. By morning, I was a wreck, bags under my eyes, coffee barely cutting through the fog, but I had to know more. Mom was my only shot. I called her after dropping Ellie at school, pacing my apartment like a caged animal. Riley? Mom's voice crackled through, sleepy and annoyed, 9 in the morning's early for her retired ass in Tacoma. What's wrong now? She's 60, all judgment and perms, the kind of mom who loves you but never lets you forget you're a disappointment. Hey, Ma, I said, forcing casual. You got a sec? It's about Nora. Silence, then a huff. What about her? She's been gone 5 years, hon, let it rest. Yeah, well, her piano's not resting, I snapped, the melody humming in my ears. Found some music in it, handwritten, weird. Sounds like something she played. Another pause, longer, and I could hear her shifting, like she was sitting up straighter. Nora didn't write music, she said, firm. Played like a dream, jazz, blues, all that bar stuff, but she wasn't no composer. You're imagining things. I laughed, bitter. Imagining? It's in my head, Mom. All the time. And there's shadows. Moving with it. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss in if this were some ghost hunting vlog I'd binge instead of living. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was real, and Mom's sigh was heavy, like she was tired of my drama. Shadows? Riley, you're stressed, Ellie, work, no man. You're hearing things 'cause you're run ragged. Nora's piano's just a piano. I gripped the phone, the shadow from last night flashing, swaying, humming, too real. It's not stress, I said, voice low. It's her tune. And it's screwing with me. Mom went quiet, then softer. Nora had her troubles, you know. Drank too much, chased men who didn't stay. That piano was her lifeline, played it till her fingers bled some nights. But music haunting you? That's crazy talk. I pulled the sheet from my pocket, staring at melody for N. Found a note, don't let it play. Her writing? Mom snorted. She barely wrote grocery lists. Look, Riley, she was messed up, lost herself in that life. Died alone cause of it. Don't dig up her ghosts. Ghosts. The word stuck, the melody swelling, and I glanced at the piano. The shadow was back, corner by the couch, taller, swaying like it heard Mom too. What kind of troubles? I pressed, heart kicking up. Men? Booze? What? Mom hesitated, then, one guy, bad news. Broke her heart, maybe worse. She wouldn't talk about it, just played that damn piano till the end. Leave it alone, Riley. For Ellie's sake. She hung up, abrupt, leaving me with static and that tune, louder, taunting. I turned, and the shadow was closer, by the kitchen now, humming again, rough and low, like gravel under boots. My skin prickled. Nora's troubles, her piano, this music, it wasn't random. That guy Mom mentioned, who was he? The melody twisted, sharp and needy, like it wanted me to ask. I stuffed the sheet back in my pocket, hands shaky, knowing I couldn't leave it alone. Not with that shadow singing Nora's song, creeping closer every damn day. Chapter 5, The Neighbor's Warning. I couldn't shake Mom's voice, Nora's troubles, some guy, that piano she played till it broke her. It gnawed at me all day, the melody humming louder, like it was nodding along. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life held together by duct tape and spite, and now haunted by a tune that's got shadows on its payroll. After Ellie's school run, I dragged us home, her backpack bouncing as she rambled about recess. I nodded on autopilot, the sheet music in my pocket feeling heavier than it should, the shadows hum from last night stuck in my throat. Our apartment building's a dump, peeling paint, flickering hall lights, the kind of place where dreams go to die. Clara, our downstairs neighbor, was out front when we got there, watering her sad little geraniums. She's 60-something, all wiry gray hair and nosy stares, the type who knows everyone's business and isn't shy about it. Hey, Riley, she called, squinting at me. You look like hell. Ellie keeping you up? Ellie giggled, and I forced a grin. Something like that. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some late-night rant I could laugh off. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But Clara's eyes narrowed, like she saw past my bullshit, and the melody kicked up, soft, sneaky, weaving through the drizzle outside. Been hearing music, she said, casual, but her grip tightened on the watering can. Late at night. Coming from your place. That old piano of yours? My stomach flipped. What music? I asked, too sharp, Ellie tugging my hand. Clara stepped closer, voice dropping. That tune, slow, sad, kinda pretty but off. Heard it years ago, when Nora was around. Used to drift down from her window till, she stopped, glancing at Ellie, then back at me. Till what? I pressed, heart thudding. The melody swelled in my head, matching her words, and I swear the shadow flickered, behind her, by the stairs, swaying like it was eavesdropping. Clara's lips thinned. Till it took her. She played it non-stop near the end, crazy, drunk, lost. Then one night, nothing. Gone. I blinked, cold creeping up my spine. Gone how? She died, Clara, liver gave out. She shook her head, slow, eyes dark. That's what they said. But I heard it, after. That melody, floating around, like it wasn't done. And now you've got it. Ellie squeezed my hand, oblivious, but I felt it, the shadows hum, low and rough, syncing with the tune in my skull. You're saying it's, what, cursed? I laughed, sharp, but it sounded weak even to me. Clara didn't smile. Call it what you want. Nora was a mess, loved too hard, drank too much, let that music in. It chewed her up, Riley. Spat her out. You're a mom, don't let it near that girl. She nodded at Ellie, who was kicking pebbles, humming something. Fuck, was it the melody? My breath caught, but it was just some cartoon jingle. Still, the shadow shifted, closer now, by the geraniums, swaying like it was hungry. I'm fine, I lied, tugging Ellie toward the door. Just tired. Watch yourself, Clara called after us, voice hard. It doesn't let go easy. Inside, I locked the door, the melody roaring now, sharp and needy, like it was pissed I'd talked about it. Ellie ran off to play, and I sank against the wall, pulling the sheet music out. Don't let it play. Clara's words, it took her, mixed with Mom's, broke her heart, maybe worse, and I felt sick. The shadow wasn't in here, yet, but its hum lingered, faint, like a promise. Nora's tune wasn't just haunting me. It was hunting, and I was starting to think I wasn't its first prey. Chapter 6, A Daughter's Echo. Clara's warning stuck to me like damp clothes, it took her, doesn't let go easy, and the melody wouldn't shut up, buzzing in my head like a fly I couldn't swat. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a tightrope over a shit pit, and now freaking out over a tune that's got shadows dancing in my peripheral. After we got inside, I tried to shake it, made Ellie a peanut butter sandwich, plopped her in front of some glittery unicorn show, anything to keep my hands busy and my mind off that damn piano. But the melody hummed louder, needy, like it was clawing at me from the inside. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd throw out if this were some spooky podcast I could laugh at later. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this wasn't a story I could skip. Ellie munched away, giggling at the TV, while I hovered by the kitchen counter, the sheet music in my pocket feeling like a live wire. I kept glancing at the piano, silent, chipped, Nora's ghost in wood and keys. The shadow wasn't back, yet, but Clara's words looped with Mom's, lost herself, broke her heart, took her. What the hell had Nora gotten into? I was rinsing Ellie's plate when I heard it, soft, off-key, but unmistakable. Humming. Not from me, not from the piano, from Ellie. I spun, water dripping down my arm, and there she was, sprawled on the rug, twirling a crayon, humming the melody. My melody. The one nobody else hears. My heart stopped, then kicked into overdrive. Ellie, I said, sharp, dropping the sponge. Where'd you get that song? She looked up, all big eyes and innocence. Dunno, Mommy. It's pretty. Like a lullaby. Pretty? It was a gut punch, a cry in the dark, not a damn lullaby. You heard it before? I asked, kneeling beside her, voice tight. She shrugged, coloring a unicorn's tail blue. Maybe in my sleep. It's nice. Nice. My skin crawled, the melody in my head syncing with her hum, loud and smug, like it had won something. Then I saw it, the shadow, by the TV, swaying slow, matching her tune. Taller, darker, its hum rougher, like gravel on glass. It wasn't just with me now, it was with her. Ellie, stop, I snapped, louder than I meant, grabbing her shoulders. She flinched, crayon rolling away, and the shadow flickered, closer, by the couch. You're scaring me, she whined, lip trembling, and guilt hit me like a truck. Sorry, baby, I said, pulling her into a hug, my pulse racing. Just, don't sing that, okay? It's Mommy's song. She nodded, confused, and I let her go, eyes locked on the shadow. It didn't move, just hummed, low and steady, like it was waiting for her to start again. I scooped her up, cartoon forgotten, and carried her to bed, early, but I needed her safe, away from that thing. Sleep tight, I whispered, tucking her in, the melody softening in my head, almost mocking. She was out fast, kids bounce back like that, but I wasn't. Back in the living room, the shadow was gone, but the piano loomed, sheet music poking out of my pocket like a dare. Ellie humming it, clear as it took her ringing, meant this wasn't just my problem anymore. It was in my kid, my blood, my home. I grabbed a beer, hands shaky, and sank onto the couch, staring at the piano. The melody kicked up, sharp, insistent, like it knew I was cracking. Nora's tune, her shadow, her mess, now it's got Ellie in its sights. How'd it jump from me to her? Was it after us both? The room went quiet, but my gut screamed, this wasn't a lullaby. It was a leash, and it was tightening around my little girl. Chapter 7, The Bar Gig. Ellie humming that damn melody kept me up all night, my brain a mess of fear and Nora's ghost. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a guitar I used to love, and now a punching bag for a tune that's got my kid in its crosshairs. By morning, I was a zombie, coffee didn't touch the exhaustion, but I had a gig that night, first in months. A dive bar called the Salty Dog, $50 and free beer, a chance to feel like me again, not just mom or that chick who's late with rent. I dropped Ellie at a friend's for a sleepover, safe, I hoped, and hauled my gear out, the melody humming low, like it was biding its time. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it, I'd toss out if this were some gritty livestream I could laugh at later. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my shot, cramped stage, sticky floor, a crowd of drunks who'd clap for a fart if it had rhythm. I tuned my guitar, the melody weaving through the bar's buzz, louder now, sharp, like it knew I was here. No shadow yet, but my skin prickled, eyes darting to corners. I'd shoved the sheet music under my mattress, hoping distance would shut it up. Fat chance. First song went fine, some bluesy riff I'd written pre-Ellie, when I had dreams bigger than diapers. The crowd hooted, sloppy but into it, and I grinned, sweat beading, feeling alive. Then it hit me, the melody, loud and clear, drowning my chords. My fingers slipped, notes souring, and I gritted my teeth, pushing through. But it wouldn't quit, piano-like, mournful, twisting my tune into its own. I stopped, mid-strum, and hummed it, soft, unthinking, letting it out. Big mistake. The crowd went nuts, yelling, stomping, like I'd dropped a banger. Play that again, some guy hollered, beer sloshing. I froze, heart pounding. They heard it? Not just me? I stormed it, rough, messy, the melody pouring out like blood from a cut. The bar erupted, cheers, whistles, but then chaos. A woman near the front screamed, not excited, scared, clutching her head. Make it stop, she wailed, shoving through bodies. A guy by the bar threw his glass, shattering it against the wall, yelling, "It's in me." The crowd split, half cheering, half freaking, like the tune was a live wire sparking different in everyone. I kept playing, stunned, the melody taking over, my hands not mine anymore. Then I saw it, the shadow, back by the stage lights, tall and swaying, humming louder than the chaos. Rough, raw, like a voice scraped over rocks, singing words I couldn't catch. My stomach dropped. It wasn't just with me, it was here, feeding off this, turning my gig into a circus. Riley, what the hell? The bartender barked, ducking a flying bottle. I stopped, guitar clanging, but the melody didn't, echoing in the air, the shadows hum rising. The woman who'd screamed bolted out, the glass thrower sank to his knees, sobbing, and the rest just stared, wild-eyed, like I'd hexed them. I unplugged, hands shaking, and bolted off stage, shoving through the mess to the alley out back. The melody followed, sharp, pissed, like I'd betrayed it by stopping. The shadow didn't, stayed inside, I hoped, but its hum lingered, buzzing in my bones. I leaned against the brick, panting, the crowd's roar fading. They'd heard it, felt it, turned it into madness. Nora's tune wasn't just mine anymore. It was loose, hungry, and that shadow was belting it like a frontman from hell. What the fuck had I let out? Chapter 8, Clara's Tale. I stumbled home from the Salty Dog gig with my guitar slung over my shoulder, the melody still ringing in my ears like a hangover I couldn't shake. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a side of shattered dreams, and now the idiot who turned a bar into a war zone with a haunted tune. The crowd's screams, half thrilled, half unhinged, chased me all the way back to my Seattle dump of an apartment. Ellie was still at her sleepover, safe from this mess, but I wasn't. The shadow's hum, rough and smug, stuck with me, and I couldn't unsee it swaying under those stage lights like it owned the place. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some gritty confessional I could laugh off later. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my life, and it was spiraling. I dropped my gear by the door, the melody looping, sharp, needy, like it was pissed I'd run. The sheet music was still under my mattress, but I didn't need it, the tune was in me, clawing its way out. I grabbed a beer, hands shaky, and was halfway through it when someone banged on my door, loud, insistent, like they meant business. It was Clara, my nosy downstairs neighbor, her gray hair wild, eyes sharp with something between worry and wrath. "Heard you had a night," she said, barging in before I could answer. "Whole building's buzzing, your gig turned into a damn riot." "That tune again?" I groaned, sinking onto the couch, beer sloshing. "Yeah, Clara. It's out of control. People heard it, freaked out. Shadows too." She froze, then sat across from me, leaning in like she was about to spill state secrets. "Nora's tune," she said, voice low. "Told you it took her. You're playing with fire, girl." I laughed, bitter and loud. "Fire? It's more like a fucking forest blaze now. What do you know, Clara?" "Really?" She sighed, heavy, like she'd been carrying this too long. "Nora was my friend, wild, messy, brilliant. That piano was her soul, played it till her hands bled, especially after him." My gut twisted. "Him who?" Mom's vague broke her heart flashed, and the melody kicked up, syncing with Clara's words. "Some guy," she said, eyes distant. "Tall, dark hair, voice like smoke. Musician too, wrote that tune for her. Called it love, but it ate her alive." I leaned forward, beer forgotten. "Wrote it? Melody for N?" Clara nodded, grim. "Yeah. She'd play it, over and over, after he left. Said it kept him close, but it broke her. Drank more, fought more, lost gigs, friends, everything. Night she disappeared, I heard it, loud, wild, like she was screaming through the keys. Then silence. Cops said liver failure, but I saw shadows, Riley. Moving, humming, right outside her window. The room spun, the melody roaring now, and I saw it, the shadow, by my kitchen, swaying slow, humming rougher, like it was agreeing. My breath caught. "You're saying he, what, cursed her with it?" Clara shrugged, eyes hard. "Dunno. Love, hate, something twisted, he gave it to her, and it stuck. Took her mind, then her. Now it's got you." The shadow shifted, closer, by the couch, its hum louder, words almost forming, "Nora, Nora." I jumped, spilling beer. "You hear that?" Clara frowned, head cocked. "Hear what?" "Fuck," I muttered, staring at it. It wasn't just swaying, it was singing, calling her, like it missed her. Clara grabbed my arm, voice fierce. "You've gotta stop playing it, Riley. For Ellie, for you, it's not done taking." The melody twisted, sharp and smug, and the shadow loomed, humming her name clearer now. Nora's man, her tune, her end, what the hell was it doing to me? And why was it calling her back? Chapter 9, The Sheet Music Moves. Clara's story about Nora and her mystery man left me rattled, the melody humming like a smug asshole who knew it had me hooked. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a dumpster fire, and now stuck with a tune that's turning my world into a haunted playlist. After she left, warning me to stop playing it, I sat there, beer warm in my hand, staring at the shadow by the couch. It didn't move, just hummed, low and rough, chanting Nora, Nora like a broken record. I flipped it off, half hoping it'd take the hint. Nope. just kept singing like it was serenading a ghost. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd say if this were some late night rant I could scroll past. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my mess, and the melody wouldn't quit, sharp, needy, looping tighter around my brain. I'd stashed the sheet music under my mattress after the gig, thinking it'd stay put. Dumb move. Around midnight, Ellie still at her sleepover, I crashed on the couch, too wired to sleep. The shadow faded, finally, but the tune stayed, soft now, like it was plotting something. I woke to a rustle, faint, papery, not the usual creaks of this shitty apartment. My eyes snapped open, heart kicking up, and there it was, the sheet music, melody for N, on the coffee table. Not under the mattress, out, open, like someone laid it there. I bolted upright, breath catching. No way, I muttered, rubbing my face. I'd checked it, shoved it deep, mattress springs digging into my hand. The melody swelled, smug and loud, and the shadow was back, by the piano now, swaying slow, humming Nora's name clearer, like it was proud. I grabbed the paper, hands shaky, the ink still faded but the notes sharp, like they'd been waiting. Don't let it play, stared back, Nora's scrawl, and I cursed, loud. You're not supposed to move, you little shit. The shadow hummed louder, and then, fuck me, the page flipped. On its own. No breeze, no nudge, just a slow turn, revealing a second sheet stuck beneath, more notes, Messier, with words scratched in the margin, he won't stop. My stomach dropped. He who? The guy Clara mentioned? The melody kicked up, matching the new page, wilder now, like it was laughing at me. I dropped it, backing away, but the shadow moved, fast, sliding to the table, looming over the music. Its hum shifted, not Nora's name anymore, but mine. Riley, it rasped, rough and low, like it had smoked a pack a day. I froze, heart slamming, beer bottle rolling off the couch with a dull thud. What the fuck do you want? I yelled, voice cracking. No answer, just my name over and over, the melody twisting with it, loud and sharp, like it was rewriting itself for me. The pages rustled again, flipping back, then forward, like some possessed flipbook, and the shadow leaned closer, humming me into its tune. I lunged, snatching the music, and bolted to the kitchen, shoving it into a drawer, slamming it shut like that'd trap it. The melody didn't stop, roared louder, pissed, and the shadow followed, swaying by the sink, singing Riley, Riley like a creepy lullaby. My hand shook, sweat beading, and I laughed, unhinged. You're a real charmer, huh? It didn't laugh back, just hummed, voice sharper, mimicking me now, my laugh, my yell, looping it into the melody. I slammed my fists on the counter, panting. Nora's tune wasn't just alive, it was personal, and it was turning me into its next verse. What the hell did he won't stop mean? And why was this shadow serenading me now? Chapter 10, Ellie's Nightmare. I didn't sleep after the shadow started crooning my name like a stalker with a mic. The melody hammered my skull, the sheet music locked in the kitchen drawer like a caged beast, but I could still hear it rustling. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a screaming mess, and now scared shitless that Nora's tune is rewriting me into its chorus. Ellie was still at her sleepover, thank God, but I couldn't shake the shadow's hum, Riley, Riley, mimicking my voice, twisting it into something I didn't recognize. By morning, I was a jittery wreck, chugging coffee, waiting for the world to make sense again. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some late-night horror binge I could escape. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my hell, and it wasn't letting go. I picked Ellie up at noon, her friend's mom chattering about crafts while I nodded, barely there, the melody soft but smug, like it knew I was cracking. Ellie bounded over, all curls and grins, hugging me tight. Missed you, Mommy, she chirped, and I hugged back, hard, praying she'd stay clear of this nightmare. Back home, she napped, worn out from glitter and giggles, and I hovered, watching her sleep, the shadow's absence a shaky relief. The melody hummed low, taunting, and I couldn't sit still. Claire as it took her, Mom's broke her heart, that new note, he won't stop, swirled in my head, a tornado of what the fuck. I needed more, something solid. Nora's piano loomed, and I rifled through it again, desperate. Under the bench, buried in dust, I found it, a diary, leather cracked, pages yellowed. Nora's messy scrawl stared back, he wrote it for me. Now it won't leave. My breath caught, the melody kicking up, loud and sharp. I flipped through, dates from years back, Nora's life spilling out. James, voice like whiskey, hands like magic. Said the melody was ours. James. The guy? Clara's tall, dark musician? My hand shook, pages turning, played it tonight. He's gone, but it's still here. Louder. Shadows too. Shadows. My gut twisted, the tune syncing with her words, like it was reading along. Then, near the end, it's not his anymore. It's mine, and it's breaking me. Don't let it play, Riley. Me, my name, scratched hard, like she knew I'd find it. I dropped the diary, heart pounding, and that's when Ellie screamed, high, terrified, from her room. I bolted, the melody roaring now, and found her thrashing in bed, eyes shut, crying, stop singing. I grabbed her, shaking her awake. Ellie, baby, it's me. She gasped, clinging to me, tears soaking my shirt. The shadow, she sobbed, it was singing. Big, dark, right there. She pointed to the corner, empty now, but the melody swelled, smug, and I felt it, cold, heavy, like it had been here. What did it sing? I asked, voice trembling, holding her tight. The pretty song, she whispered, your song, Mommy. Said my name. My blood ran cold. Ellie, Ellie, like it had done to me, but softer, sweeter, luring her. The shadow wasn't just mine, it was after her too, weaving her into this fucked up duet. I rocked her, humming something else, anything, to drown it out, but the melody pushed back, loud and sharp, like it owned us both. Nora's diary lay open in the living room, don't let it play, glaring at me. James's tune, Nora's warning, it wasn't just breaking her. It was reaching for my kid, and I didn't know how to stop it. Chapter 11, The Man and the Melody. Ellie's nightmare had me clinging to her till dawn, her little body shaking against mine while that damn melody hummed like a smug bastard in my head. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a train wreck, and now terrified that Nora's tune is gunning for my kid. She fell back asleep eventually, curled tight, but I couldn't. Nora's diary burned a hole in my brain. James wrote it looping with Ellie's, it said my name. The shadow wasn't just haunting me, it was stalking us, and I was done playing its game. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd throw out if this were some late-night cry for help I could post and forget. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my fight, and sunrise didn't kill the tune, just softened it, like it was recharging. I left Ellie sleeping, grabbed the diary from the living room, and sank onto the couch, flipping through Nora's jagged words. James, tall, dark, all charm and poison. Wrote the melody for me, said it'd keep us forever. Played it last night, he's gone, but it stayed. My gut twisted, Clara's guy, mom's heartbreak, now named. More pages, Messier, it's louder now, shadows move with it. James laughed, it's ours, Nora, let it in. I can't stop playing. He's not coming back. The melody swelled, sharp and smug, like it was nodding along. Then, near the end, he lied, it's not love. It's him, in the music, breaking me. Shadows sing his name, James, James. Riley, don't let it play. My name again, scratched deep, a plea across years. I dropped the diary, hands shaky, the tune roaring now, piano notes, wild, like it knew I'd found him. James, whoever he was, didn't just write it. He was it, somehow, and Nora paid the price. I stood, pacing, when the shadow came back, kitchen corner, tall and dark, swaying fast, humming Riley, Riley louder, rougher, like it was pissed. Fuck you, I snapped, grabbing a broom, dumb, but it's what I had, and swung. It didn't flinch, just grew, edges sharper, lunging at me. I stumbled back, broom clattering, and it hit me, not solid, but cold, heavy, like a wave of dread. The melody screamed, sharp, wild, and the shadow slammed me against the wall, humming my name so loud my ears rang. Dishes crashed, Ellie's toys scattered, and I gasped, clawing at nothing. "Get off!" I yelled, thrashing, and it pulled back, slow, smug, hovering by the piano. My chest heaved, arms bruised, the tune softening like it had made its point. Ellie's door creaked, she was up, rubbing her eyes. "Mommy," she mumbled, and I bolted to her, scooping her up, heart hammering. "Just a noise, baby," I lied, holding tight, the shadow still there, humming low now, "Ellie, Ellie" mixed with my name. She didn't hear it, thank God, but her sleepy "was it the song?" cut me deep. "No," I whispered, kissing her head, "but it was, and it was mad." I put her back to bed, hands trembling, and faced the shadow. It swayed, smug, the melody looping, James's melody, Nora's curse, now ours. The diary sprawled open, it's him, breaking me, and I felt it, he wasn't gone. He was here, in the tune, the shadow, coming for us like he'd come for her. Claire as it took her wasn't just booze or heartbreak, it was this, alive, hungry. I grabbed the diary, the sheet music from the drawer, determined to end it. But where the hell was James? And how do you kill a ghost in a song? Chapter 12, The Barista's Clue. I couldn't stay in the apartment after the shadow slammed me into the wall, James's tune roaring, his hum switching between my name and Ellie's like a fucked up playlist. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a shit show, and now bruised and pissed at a ghost who won't quit. Ellie clung to me, sleepy and confused, so I bundled her up, grabbed Nora's diary and the sheet music, and hauled us to Brood Awakening. Work was my only anchor, coffee, chaos, something normal, even if Tara'd chew me out for bringing Ellie on shift. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it, I'd toss out if this were some gritty vlog I could escape. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my reality, and the melody followed, sharp, smug, humming low as I set Ellie up in the break room with crayons and a juice box. Tara glared, arms crossed, her 40-year-old boss vibe radiating. "You're on thin ice." "Kids here again?" she snapped. "Yeah," I said, tying my apron, "emergency." "She's quiet." Tara huffed but let it slide, barely. The morning rush hit, and I poured lattes on autopilot, the melody weaving through the espresso hiss, softer but clingy, like it was stalking me. No shadow, yet, but my arms ached where it had pinned me, and Nora's "it's him," breaking me looped in my head. Then Theo, the new barista, 20-something, floppy hair, all chill vibes, leaned over while steaming milk. "You humming something?" he asked, casual, but his eyes sharpened. I froze, mid-pour, coffee splashing. "What?" He nodded, wiping the steam wand. "That tune, heard it before. Old man used to sing it." My heart kicked up, the melody swelling like it had hurt him. "Old man who?" I asked, voice tight, shoving the cup at a customer. Theo shrugged, grabbing a mug. "My dad, well, stepdad. Weird guy, lives out in Renton now. Used to hum it when I was a kid, said it was from some lady he knew." I gripped the counter, Nora's diary burning in my apron pocket. "Lady named Nora?" I pressed, low, so Tara wouldn't hear. Theo blinked, surprised. "Maybe." Didn't say much, just sang it, all sad-like. "Why?" Before I could answer, the shadow flickered, by the pastry case, tall and swaying, humming Riley rough and loud. I flinched, knocking over a stack of lids, and Theo frowned. "You okay?" The melody roared, sharp and wild, and the shadow lunged, not at me, at him. It hit fast, cold, heavy, shoving him back. He yelped, milk pitcher clattering, steam spraying, and customers jumped, staring. "What the hell?" he gasped, clutching his chest, the shadow retreating to the corner, humming Nora now, smug as hell. Tara stormed over, pissed. "Riley, what's going on?" I grabbed Theo's arm, dragging him to the break room, ignoring her. Ellie looked up, crayons paused. Mommy? Stay here, baby, I said, shutting the door, turning to Theo. Your dad, where's he at? That tune's not random. It's after me, my kid, and now you. He rubbed his chest, pale. Renton, like I said. Haven't seen him in years, crazy old coot, lives alone. What's this about? I yanked the sheet music out, melody for N glaring, and shoved it at him. This. Nora's. James wrote it, fucked her up, maybe killed her. Now it's here, with shadows. Theo stared, then nodded, slow. Dad knew her, talked about a Nora once, all regret. Said she was gone 'cause of him. My stomach dropped, the melody twisting, the shadow humming louder. James now, clear as day. His dad knew Nora? Was he James? Or tied to him? Either way, I needed him, before this thing took us all. Chapter 13, Nora's Last Night. Theo's stepdad knowing Nora lit a fire under me, but I couldn't chase it yet, not with Ellie doodling in the break room and Tara breathing down my neck. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a runaway train, and now neck deep in a melody that's got shadows throwing punches. After Theo's close call, I finished my shift twitchy, the tune humming smug and sharp, the shadow lurking by the coffee grinder till closing. I grabbed Ellie, Nora's diary, the sheet music, and bolted home, Theo's "She was gone 'cause of him" clanging in my head like a warning bell. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some gritty ghost hunt I could laugh off later. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my mess, and the melody wouldn't quit, louder now, needy, like it sensed I was digging. Ellie crashed early, exhausted from her sleepover hangover, and I locked us in, the apartment feeling smaller, tighter, like it was closing in. I sat on the couch, diary open, hunting for Nora's last piece of the puzzle. The shadow wasn't here, yet, but the tune looped, daring me to read. Pages near the end were chaos, ink smeared, words jagged. James fought me tonight, said I play too much, that it's his now. Shadows everywhere, humming his name. I can't stop, won't stop. It's mine too. My heart thudded, the melody swelling, sharp and wild, like it remembered. Next entry, he's gone, left me with it. Played till dawn, shadows singing, James, James. It's a curse, he cursed me, and I let him. Breaking me apart. Then, the last, tonight's it, louder than ever. Shadows won't leave. He won't stop till I'm gone. Riley, burn it. Burn it, her final plea, my name scratched deep, like she'd screamed it across time. I dropped the diary, hands shaking, the melody roaring, piano notes, frantic, Nora's fight in every chord. Then the shadow came, kitchen first, tall and swaying, humming Nora rough and loud. I stood, clutching the sheet music, and it moved, fast, sliding to the living room, growing, edges sharp. Fuck off, I snapped, but it lunged, cold, heavy, pinning me to the couch. The melody screamed, wild and sharp, and more shadows flickered, corners, walls, everywhere, humming Riley, Ellie, Nora in a fucked up chorus. I thrashed, couch creaking, diary sliding, but they pressed, ice in my veins, air gone. Mommy. Ellie's cry cut through, she was up, in the hall, eyes wide. Stay back. I yelled, voice raw, fighting the weight. The shadows turned, swaying toward her, humming her name sweeter, luring. No. I roared, shoving up, adrenaline spiking. I grabbed the diary, the music, and bolted for her, scooping her up as the shadows swarmed, kitchen, couch, piano, closing in. The melody twisted, loud and smug, like it had won, and the big one lunged again, slamming us against the wall, Ellie screaming, my arms bruising around her. I kicked, wild, and it pulled back, slow, taunting, humming James now, clear and deep. The others hovered, a ring of dark, singing our names in sync with Nora's tune, his curse. Ellie sobbed, clinging, and I panted, trapped, the diaries he won't stop burning in my brain. James didn't just break Nora, he left this, alive, hungry, and now it had us cornered. Theo's stepdad, her regretful lover? His son, was my only lead, but how do you fight a curse that sings you into its trap? The shadows swayed, waiting, and I knew, we weren't getting out easy. Chapter 14, Theo's Dad. I barely got Ellie back to bed after the shadows cornered us, her sobs fading into shaky breaths, my arms bruised from fighting that cold, humming weight. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a goddamn horror show, and now desperate to claw us out of James's cursed tune. The melody wouldn't quit, sharp, smug, looping Nora's diary in my head, he won't stop till I'm gone. The shadows were gone, for now, but I felt them, lurking, humming Riley, Ellie like a promise. Theo's stepdad was my shot, and I wasn't waiting for daylight to find him. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it, I'd toss out if this were some late night plea I could post and forget. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was do or die, and I texted Theo at 3 a.m, need your dad's address. Now. He replied fast, groggy, Renton, 112 Pine. What's up? I didn't answer, just bundled Ellie, still half asleep, into the car with the diary and sheet music, the melody roaring as I sped out of Seattle, shadows flickering in the rearview like hitchhikers. Renton's a quiet sprawl, suburban, sleepy, the kind of place you'd never peg for ghosts. Theo's stepdad's house was a sagging shack, paint peeling, porch light buzzing. I parked, Ellie slumped against me, and banged on the door, hard, frantic. It creaked open, and there he was, grizzled, 60-ish, all wiry beard and tired eyes, reeking of stale beer. Who the hell, he started, then saw Ellie, softening. Theo sent you? I nodded, shoving past, the melody swelling like it knew him. You're his stepdad. Knew a Nora. Tell me about the tune. He blinked, slow, shutting the door. Name's Carl. Yeah, I knew her, long time ago. What tune? I yanked the sheet music out, melody for N, and held it up, hands shaky. This. You hummed it, Theo said. It's killing me, my kid, and it's got shadows singing our names. Carl's face went pale, sinking into a ratty recliner, the melody humming louder, sharp and smug. The shadow flickered, corner by his TV, swaying, humming Nora rough and low. He saw it too, flinched, hard. Jesus, he muttered, rubbing his face. That's James's. My gut twisted, diary burning in my pocket. James who? Nora's James? Carl nodded, slow, eyes distant. My old man, stepdad to me, real dad to Theo's mom. Musician, mean bastard. Loved Nora, too much. Wrote that for her, said it'd bind them. She played it till it broke her liver, they said, but I saw the shadows too. After she died, he hummed it, crazy, drunk, till he went too. Left me with it. The shadow grew, humming James now, deep and smug, and Ellie whimpered, curling tighter against me. You're his son? I asked, voice cracking, the melody twisting wild. Step, he corrected, bitter. Raised me after mom split. He was a ghost himself, died 10 years back, heart gave out. But that tune, it's him, ain't it? Still here. The shadow lunged, fast, cold, shoving Carl back, chair creaking, his beer crashing. He gasped, clawing at nothing, and I yelled, stop, holding Ellie, the melody screaming, Riley, Ellie, Nora, a fucked up trio. It pulled back, swaying by the door, humming softer, taunting. Carl panted, eyes wet. I'm sorry, she loved him, and he trapped her in it. Didn't know it'd get you. I gripped the diary, he won't stop glaring, the shadow singing Nora's name like a love song gone wrong. James's stepson, Nora's end, Carl was a link, but not the key. The melody was James, alive in it, and he was still hunting. How do you kill a dead man's song? Chapter 15, The Melody's Rage. Carl's confession, James's tune trapping Nora, now us, left me reeling, the shadow humming Nora like a lovesick creep in his dingy Renton shack. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a fucking war zone, and done watching this melody screw with my kid. Ellie shivered against me, half awake, Carl a wreck in his chair, and the tune roared, sharp, smug, weaving our names into its web. I clutched Nora's diary and the sheet music, Carl's It's Him, still here burning in my skull. James was dead, but his song wasn't, and I was ending it, now. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some gritty livestream I could shut off. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my fight, and I wasn't waiting for shadows to choke us out. Stay with her, I snapped at Carl, shoving Ellie into his arms, her sleepy whine cutting me deep, and stormed to my car. The melody followed, loud and wild, like it knew I was pissed. I grabbed my guitar from the trunk, beat up, loyal, and marched back in, the shadow swaying by Carl's door, humming Riley rough and smug. What are you doing? Carl rasped, Ellie blinking up, confused. Playing it, I said, voice hard, tuning fast, fingers shaky. Nora fought it, lost. I won't. The sheet music glared, melody for N, and I strummed, rough and loud, matching the tune in my head. The melody screamed, wild, sharp, sinking with me, and the shadow lunged, cold and heavy, slamming me back. Carl yelled, Ellie shrieked, Mommy, but I kept going, chords ragged, the room shaking. Shadows flared, every corner, swarming, humming, James, Nora, Riley, Ellie in a fucked up harmony, louder, angrier. Fuck you, James. I roared, strumming harder, the melody twisting, fighting me. The big shadow hit again, ice in my chest, guitar neck bending, and Carl bolted up, shoving Ellie behind him, grabbing a lamp like a weapon. Stop it, he shouted, swinging, but it dodged, slamming him into the wall, lamp shattering. Ellie screamed, curling small, and I saw red, pushing through the cold, playing wilder, the tune bending under my hands. The shadows swarmed, TV, couch, ceiling, humming our names, crashing dishes, toppling chairs, a storm of darkened sound. I switched it, improv, my own riff, loud and raw, drowning James's notes. The melody faltered, sharp, then soft, and the shadows froze, humming stuttering. You don't get us, I snarled, chords cutting, my voice cracking into a yell. The big one lunged, fast, brutal, knocking me flat, guitar clanging, breath gone. Ellie's cry, Mommy, no. Pierced through, and I clawed up, grabbing the neck, strumming again, wild and desperate. The melody fought, screaming back, shadows thrashing, but my riff pushed, loud, mine, and they flickered, shrinking, humming weaker. Carl staggered over, Ellie sobbing in his arms, and I played, bruised, panting, till the melody cracked, softening, the shadows retreating, slow, pissed, humming James faint and broken. I stopped, chest heaving, guitar slipping, the room a wreck, glass everywhere, furniture flipped. The tune lingered, soft, wounded, but the shadows were gone, air heavy but still. You okay? I rasped, crawling to Ellie, pulling her close. She nodded, tears soaking me. Carl slumped, muttering, crazy girl. I laughed, shaky, relief flooding, then froze. The melody hummed, faint, sneaky, not dead. The sheet music lay torn on the floor, don't let it play, mocking me. I'd heard it, pushed back, but James wasn't done. Ellie's sobs, Carl's gasps, my bruises, it was mad now, and I'd just waved a red flag. What the hell happens when a curse gets pissed? Chapter 16, Nora's Voice. I drove us back from Carl's wrecked Renton shack at dawn, Ellie curled against me, her sobs down to sniffles, my guitar bruised but intact in the back seat. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a goddamn battlefield, and still shaking from bending James's melody into submission. The tune hummed, faint, sneaky, licking its wounds, but the shadows were gone, at least for now. Carl stayed behind, muttering about cleaning up, his crazy girl ringing in my ears. I'd heard it, pushed it back with my riff, but that faint hum said it wasn't dead, and I wasn't dumb enough to think we were safe. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some gritty survival vlog I could laugh at later. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my war, and the melody clung, soft, taunting, like a cut that won't heal. Back home, Seattle's gray light crept through the blinds, and I tucked Ellie into bed, her little hand gripping mine. "No more shadows," she whispered, eyes heavy. "No more," I lied, kissing her forehead, the tune humming low, daring me to believe it. I grabbed the sheet music, torn from the fight, and Nora's diary, sinking onto the couch, hands shaky. "Burn it," she'd written, her last plea, and I was done fucking around. The melody kicked up, sharper, nervous, like it knew what I was thinking. Then the shadow came, kitchen corner, tall and swaying, humming Riley rough and low. I stood, clutching the papers, and it moved, slow, deliberate, humming softer, sadder. "What now?" I snapped, voice raw. "You're beat, go haunt someone else." The hum shifted, not my name, not James's, Nora. Then, clear as hell, a voice, not rough, not shadows, but her. "Riley," it said, soft, cracked, like she'd smoked too many nights away. I froze, heart slamming, the melody softening, mournful. "Nora?" I whispered, stepping closer, the shadow swaying like it was crying. "Let me go," she said, faint, pleading. "He trapped me, James. The music's him, but I'm stuck too. Burn it, please." My throat tightened, diary trembling in my hands. It's him, breaking me, and I saw it, her fight, her end, her ghost begging through the tune. "Okay," I said, voice breaking, grabbing a lighter from the kitchen, cheap, flickering, all I had. The shadow hummed, Nora, louder, desperate, and I lit the sheet music first, melody for end curling black, smoke stinging my eyes. The melody screamed, sharp, wild, shadow thrashing, growing, humming no, rough and deep, James's voice now, pissed. I tossed the diary in, flames licking Nora's words, and the shadow lunged, cold, heavy, shoving me back. "Fuck you, James," I yelled, holding the burning pages, the melody twisting, fading, Nora's thank you faint under his roar. The fire ate it, paper to ash, smoke thick, and the shadow shrank, humming weaker, Nora soft, then silent. The melody died, gone, like a snapped string, and the shadow flickered out, air still, heavy. I sank to the floor, coughing, lighter clattering, Ellie's snores the only sound. It was over, Nora free, James burned out, the tune torched. I laughed, shaky, tears mixing with smoke, relief, exhaustion, a mom who'd fought a ghost and won. But as I swept the ashes, my gut twisted, that faint hum, last night, after I'd heard it. Was it really gone? Or was Nora's thank you just half the goodbye? Chapter 17, The Fire's Lie. Burning Nora's music left me hollowed out, the apartment reeking of smoke and ash, Ellie's snores a lifeline in the quiet. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a battered mess, and clinging to the hope I'd torched James's cursed tune for good. The shadow was gone, Nora's thank you echoing like a ghost's goodbye, the melody silent, finally. I swept the ashes into a trash bag, hands shaky, and crashed on the couch, too wired to sleep, half expecting the hum to kick back up. It didn't, not then, and I let myself breathe, thinking maybe, just maybe, we'd won. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some gritty victory rant I could post and forget. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my reality, and winning felt flimsy, too easy after weeks of shadows choking me and Ellie. Morning crept in, Seattle's gray light dulling the chaos, and Ellie woke up, bright, chattering about pancakes, no sign of nightmares or humming. I made them, lumpy, burned edges, single mom special, and she giggled, syrup on her chin, the normalcy hitting me like a punch. No tune, no dark swaying in the corners. I grinned, shaky, daring to believe it. Work was next, brewed awakening a blur of coffee and Tara's glares, but no shadows, no melody sneaking through the espresso hiss. Theo cornered me mid-shift, wiping mugs, his floppy hair a mess. "You see my old man?" he asked, low, eyes sharp. "Yeah," I said, pouring a latte, voice steady. "Burned it, Nora's stuff. It's done." He nodded, slow, rubbing his chest where the shadow'd hit. Good. He called, sounded shook, said it's quiet now. Quiet. The word felt fragile, but I clung to it, the day grinding on, normal, boring, mine. Home again, Ellie at school, I cleaned, scrubbing smoke from the floor, tossing the lighter, trying to erase it all. The piano loomed, chipped and silent, and I avoided it, Nora's ghost too fresh. Night fell, Ellie back, and we curled up, cartoons, popcorn, her laugh a bomb. I was drifting off, her head on my lap, when it hit, faint, soft, a whisper of piano notes. My eyes snapped open, heart thudding, the melody creeping back, barely there, like a bruise you don't notice till you press it. No, I muttered, sitting up, Ellie stirring. What, Mommy, she mumbled, sleepy. Nothing, baby, I lied, scanning the room, empty, no shadows, just that hum, sly and low, weaving through the TV's buzz. I stood, shaky, checking corners, the piano, the trash where I'd dumped the ashes. Nothing moved, but the tune lingered, soft, taunting, not the wild roar from before, but alive. I'd burned it, watched it curl to nothing, yet here it was, smirking from the edges. Nora's let me go, had I? Or was James still here, licking his wounds, waiting? The shadow didn't come, no swaying, no Riley, Ellie, but the melody hummed, a thread I couldn't snap. I sank back, Ellie asleep again, my pulse racing. It wasn't loud, not yet, just a tickle, a tease, like it was testing me. I'd fought, played it down, burned it out, or thought I had. Carl's it's him, Nora's he won't stop, they clawed back, doubt gnawing. Was it weaker, biding time? Or had the fire lied, letting it slip through the cracks? I hugged Ellie tighter, the tune faint but stubborn, and knew, this wasn't over. It was quieter, softer, but still here, watching, humming, ready to sing again. What the hell did I miss? Chapter 18, Ellie's Song. That faint hum after burning the music stuck with me like a splinter, too quiet to grab, too real to ignore. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a patched-up mess, and now paranoid that James's tune didn't die in the fire. Ellie slept through it, her warmth on my lap a shaky anchor, but I couldn't, eyes darting to corners, waiting for the shadow to sway back in. Morning came, gray and heavy, and I dragged us through the routine, pancakes, school drop-off, brood awakening, praying the melody would fade like a bad dream. It didn't, soft, sneaky, humming under the coffee grinder's whine. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it, I'd toss out if this were some late-night ramble I could shrug off. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my skin, and the tune clung, faint, taunting, like it was laughing at my it's over bullshit. Tara snapped at me for spilling oat milk, her 40-year-old glare sharper than usual, but no shadows showed, and I clung to that, pouring lattes like it'd keep me sane. Theo kept his distance, wiping counters, his "it's quiet now" from yesterday feeling like a jinx. Quiet, my ass. Ellie's school pickup was normal, her bounding out, backpack swinging, all grins and glitter glue stories. Back home, she raided the fridge, apple slices, my last beer she eyed like a bandit, and I let her ramble, the melody humming low, a background buzz I couldn't shake. Then she started humming, soft, absent, coloring at the table, apple crunching. My heart stopped, it was it, the tune, piano-like and mournful, slipping from her lips like a lullaby. Ellie, I said, sharp, dropping the dish I was washing, suds splashing. Where'd you get that? She looked up, crayon paused, big eyes blinking. Dunno, Mommy. It's pretty, stuck in my head. Pretty. The word hit like a slap, same as before, when the shadow sang her name. I knelt beside her, hands shaky, the melody in my head syncing with hers, louder now, smug. You heard it today? I asked, voice tight. She nodded, coloring again. Yeah, nap time. Made me feel happy. Happy? It had choked me, trapped Nora, and she's calling it happy? I grabbed her shoulders, gentler than I felt, watching her hum, carefree, the tune weaving through her voice. The shadow flickered, corner by the couch, swaying slow, humming with her, not Riley or Nora, just her little melody, soft and sweet. My stomach twisted, it wasn't lunging, wasn't rough, just danced, like it liked her version. "Stop, baby," I said, voice cracking, and she did, frowning. "Why?" "It's nice." "Nice." I pulled her close, hugging tight, the shadow still there, humming low, no attack, just watching, swaying, almost calm. The melody in my head softened too, not wild, not pissed, like it was, pleased. I let her go, shaky, and she went back to coloring, humming gone. The shadow lingered, faint, swaying, then faded, the tune dropping to a whisper in me. I sank onto a chair, staring at the piano, Nora's burnet clawing back. I'd torched it, thought I'd killed James's grip, but Ellie's hum, the shadows shift, it wasn't rage now. It was something else, something softer, and that scared me more. Had it changed? Was it hers now, not his? I watched her, apple juice on her chin, the melody faint but alive, and felt it, this wasn't over. It had let go of Nora, maybe me, but Ellie, she was humming it new, and the shadow was listening. Chapter 19, James's Shadow. Ellie humming the melody like it was hers flipped my world sideways, the shadow swaying soft, not choking, like it had found a new muse. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a battered wreck, and now freaked that my kid's rewriting a curse I thought I'd burned. She slept that night, peaceful, while I paced, the tune faint but stubborn, humming low like a heartbeat I couldn't kill. The shadow didn't come back, not yet, but its calm dance stuck with me, and Nora's he won't stop clawed at my gut. I needed Carl, Theo's stepdad, James's stepson, to nail this shut. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some late-night breakdown I could post and laugh off. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my fight, and I called Carl at dawn, Ellie still out, school skipped, voice shaky but firm. It's Riley. Melody's back, soft, but here. Ellie's humming it. Tell me everything. He groaned, raspy, like I'd woken him from a bender. Thought you burned it. Renton, now, I'll talk. I hauled Ellie there, her napping in the car, and Carl met us at his shack, beard wilder, eyes red, the mess from our fight still scattered. She's humming it? He asked, sinking into his recliner, Ellie stirring on my lap. Yeah, I said, voice low, the melody humming faint, sinking with her sleepy breaths. Shadow's not mad, dances, like it likes her. Carl rubbed his face, hard, beer can trembling. Jesus. It's James, his tune, his soul. Killed him too, not just Nora. My stomach dropped, Nora's diary flashing, he won't stop till I'm gone. Killed him how? I pressed, clutching Ellie, the tune ticking up, soft but smug. Carl sighed, heavy. After Nora, liver, they said, he went nuts. Played it, hummed it, shadow swarming his place. Found him dead, heart attack, 10 years back, but I heard it after, faint, like now. He wrote it for her, love, control, whatever, tied himself in. She played till it took her, then it turned on him. Double-edged curse. The shadow flickered, by his TV, swaying slow, humming James low and sad, not Ellie's sweet tune, his. I gripped the couch arm, heart thudding. So he's dead, both are. Why's it still here? Carl shrugged, eyes wet. Didn't let go, neither did. Nora begged you to burn it, worked, mostly. Shadows faded hereafter. But Ellie, he trailed off, staring at her, the melody weaving through her soft snores. She's new, fresh voice. Maybe it's hers now, not his. The shadow hummed louder, Nora, then faded, gone, like it had said its piece. I swallowed, hard, Carl's double-edged sinking in, James trapped Nora, then himself, and I'd cut her loose. But Ellie? You saying it's not him anymore? I asked, voice cracking, the tune soft, almost warm. Carl nodded, slow. Maybe. Burned his grip, Nora's too. She's free, he's weak. Ellie's making it hers, innocent, not cursed. I held her tighter, relief warring with dread, the shadows dance, her hum, softer, sweeter. Was it hers now, not a trap? The melody lingered, faint, no rage, just Ellie's echo, and the room stilled, Carl's eyes heavy with regret. Sorry, he muttered. Didn't know it'd jump. I nodded, shaky, standing with Ellie, the tune a whisper, not a scream. James's death, Nora's end, tied, burned, fading. But her hum last night, the shadows sway, was it really free? Or was Carl wrong, and something lingered, waiting to shift again? I left, Ellie's weight grounding me, the melody soft but alive, and wondered, had I killed it, or handed it off? Chapter 20, The Last Note. Carl's words, James dead, Nora free, Ellie maybe turning the melody hers, followed me home like a shadow I couldn't shake, even if it wasn't humming my name anymore. I'm Riley Hayes, 32, single mom, barista with a life that's a stitched-up wreck, and clinging to a win after weeks of fighting a tune that nearly broke us. Ellie napped in the car, her soft snores a lifeline, the melody faint, barely there, no rage, just a whisper weaving through her breaths. Back in our Seattle dump, I tucked her into bed, the apartment quiet, no shadow swaying, no Riley, Ellie choking the air. I wanted to believe it was over. Please, put this video on pause and smack a like on it. I'd toss out if this were some gritty wrap-up I could post and laugh off. And I'd be damn grateful for your comment. But this was my endgame, or close enough, and I sank onto the couch, staring at Nora's piano, chipped and silent. The tune hummed, soft, sneaky, not James's wild scream or Nora's desperate cry, but Ellie's echo, sweet and small. I'd burned it, watched it ash out, yet here it was, clinging like a kid who won't let go. Carl's She's Making It Hers stuck, and I needed to know, needed to finish it my way. I grabbed my guitar, bruised from the fight at Carl's, and sat by Ellie's door, strumming soft, not the melody, but mine, raw, bluesy, something I'd scratched up pre-mom life, when I still had fire. The tune in my head faltered, faint, unsure, like it was listening. Ellie stirred, patting out, rubbing her eyes. Mommy's song, she mumbled, climbing into my lap. Yeah, baby, I said, voice thick, playing louder, weaving my chords around her hum from yesterday, sweet, innocent, not cursed. The melody shifted, softened, blending, not fighting me this time. The shadow flickered, corner by the couch, swaying slow, humming low, not James or Nora, just a quiet echo, matching us. My heart kicked up, but it didn't lunge, no cold, no weight, just danced, faint, like it was saying goodbye. I kept playing, Ellie humming along, hers now, not his, and the tune bent, brightening, no mournful edge, no trap. The shadow hummed softer, Ellie once, gentle, then faded, gone, the air lightening, like a weight I'd carried too long lifted. I stopped, guitar quiet, the melody silent, truly silent, no whisper, no tease. Ellie grinned, sleepy. Pretty, mommy. I laughed, shaky, hugging her tight, tears prickling, relief, exhaustion, a mom who'd fought ghosts and won, maybe. Yeah, pretty, I whispered, the piano looming but still, Nora's ghost free, James's curse burned out, or shifted, handed off to Ellie's light. Days passed, brood awakening shifts, school runs, no hum, no dark swaying. I played my stuff, gigs again, small ones, Ellie clapping, no shadows crashing the party. Life crept back, messy, broke, mine, and I let it, the tune gone, Nora's thank you a faint echo I'd carry forever. Then, one night, restringing my guitar, I found it, under the couch, a scrap of sheet music, unburned, melody for N scrawled faint, one note circled in Nora's shaky hand. My breath caught, heart thudding, but no hum, just paper, quiet, a relic. Ellie slept, the apartment still, and I held it, staring. Was it hers now, Ellie's, not James's? Or a thread he'd left, waiting? I didn't burn it, tucked it in a drawer, a question I couldn't answer yet. The silence held, but that scrap hummed in my mind, not loud, not alive, just there, a last note I'd face someday, maybe.